And welcome back to another episode of the NBA Hoops Happy Hour. Honestly, I've blanked on what number this is. I think it's 8 off the top of my head. Do you recall?
Yeah, nah, mate. I don't have an absolute clue. Probably
It has been a while since the last one because the last one was post-finals. We did a bit of a recap.
Yeah, 7, 8 kind of thing.
Yeah.
Around that number.
Now we're bloody heading into training camp.
Yeah, quick turnaround.
Bloody caught us quickly, didn't it?
Quick turnaround for some, mate.
And then there's guys like Trae Young who haven't played in like 9 months. I saw him tweeting. He's like a kid in Christmas, first time getting back into school, basically.
I mean, you can understand. Like, everyone else sort of got the whole bubble experience, and these guys were just like,
sitting there doing fuck all while stuck in quarantine.
Nuts,
yeah, stuck in quarantine.
Hey, it's their own fault.
Yeah, certainly.
They want to tank. That's what they get.
Well, in the Christmassy spirit, like the 12 days Christmas, all that shit, I've come up with 12 questions going in the training camp. Honestly, it was originally going to be 10, but then I thought of 2 more at the end and changed it to a dozen. So we may as well just dive in.
You going to have some Mariah Carey in the background or what?
Oh, baby, we definitely should. 'Tis the season. I'll go with the first question here, based on the trade that happened yesterday, the Westbrook-Wall swap.
Yeah, that was spicy.
Yeah. Oh, quickly, what did we think of it generally? Just sort of like...
I mean...
Both guys wanted out. There weren't many deals around for either of them.
Yeah, like... The thing is, both of them, you never know what they were feeling. Like, Westbrook and Harden are boys, but they obviously didn't get along playing well, and it's sort of like... You got to ask yourself the question, who do they get along playing well, really?
Yeah.
Like, and then you hear reports of Beal sort of going, yeah, I want Russ instead of Wall. Like, there's lots of conflicting things.
I heard the Wall wanted Harden instead of Beal as well.
What I mean.
You're
like,
hearing it. Yeah, you're hearing every combination.
No one really knows what's going on, but they obviously pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is
It's not really a barometer changing thing, I don't think. Like,
it's not going to tip the scale for any of them. Like, I could see Washington maybe pushing for the playoffs now a bit more, seeing just health.
I'd probably say with Wall they were pushing for playoffs. With Westbrook, they're a lock.
You never know with health with Wall. Like, everyone says he looks good, but everyone says that crap after an ACL, after Achilles. I remember someone was saying DeMarcus Cousins looks good in practice. And he hasn't bloody played significant since.
That's an underrated little reunion, though, DeMarcus and John.
It's very wholesome, mate.
I was quite happy with it, I've got to say, as a John fan.
But, like, because, like you said, you were hearing that thing. It's either, like, you're hearing it both sides. It's a last-ditch effort to keep Harden from wanting out. It's a last-ditch effort to keep Beal from requesting a trade. You
the
hear
2 leading scorers from last season.
Yeah,
sort of
like, you hear it both ways. So you don't really know what to think. But on the surface, if that's what they wanted, then it seems to work for both teams. I'm not sure about on-court basketball fit.
Yeah. Well, that was sort of where I was going to lead to it. Which pairing do you think will have more success, Wall Harden or Westy Beal?
Westy Beal, just simply...
East, is that...
No, so are you talking about just, like, impact or just statistics?
Well, like, who's going to perform better? Like, who's going to, like, be the more functional, like, successful team pairing? Well, maybe even team in general, but... Which pairing?
I would say, so we'll go into the Wall and Harden. I would say Wall's like a more of a natural playmaker.
Yeah, he complements Harden better than Westbrook
But
did,
then
I feel.
When you sort of look deeper into Harden, you sort of go, he needs the ball in his hands to score. He's not the off-ball scorer that Bradley Beal can and is, if you know what I mean. Like, it's not that he can't run around and spot up, but he just he's not that kind of guy. Like, he's who he is because he's
the king of the gather
16-second ISO ball kind of thing. Like, that's just who he is. I don't know if it's going to change. I don't know if it was a product of the D'Antoni system. Like, there's a lot of what-ifs about it. So, like... But then you sort of go into the Westbrook-Beal one. It's like, Westbrook's not as selfish as everyone makes him out to be. I'm not a massive Russell Westbrook fan, but, like... He will pass the ball. He's going to be surrounded by a few more shooters, I think.
Yeah,
you've got
Bertans locked up long term.
Beal's more of an off-ball player. He was on the ball last year, so I don't know if he got a taste for it.
Rui's probably got a bit of stretch to his game.
Yeah, you never know how he's developed over the off season, whatnot.
But they've got a nice little team there, actually.
It's not bad because they picked up Denny as well. Yeah, Denny, he can probably shoot a couple.
Give him some playmaking off the bench,
interchangeable sort of bigs that can shoot. So,
Thomas Bryant run some pick and rolls with Russ. That'd work nicely.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
I reckon that Washington team's probably a shout for like a top 5-ish seed in the East if everything goes right, like health and everything.
Yeah,
else.
There's a lot of things got to go right.
Yeah.
But Westbrook still had those 3-month stretch where he was putting up 31, 8 and 8. Like,
Pre-bubble, he was a beast. It's
Yeah,
just the
that's-
bubble he got gypped by Rona and injuries.
yeah, like, and that was with another ball dominant player in James Harden. So there's no reason they can't make it work.
I think it'd work better because like Westbrook needs shooters around him. Brad Beal is one of the best shooters in the league.
Yeah.
Like
That's
Westbrook can't be the alpha scorer on a championship team.
No.
Brad Beal's got an alpha scorer skill set. Whether or not he can be the alpha scorer on a championship team, left to be seen.
Yeah.
But as far as a number 2, Russell Westbrook's about as good as he's going to get.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's if Russell Westbrook's willing to be a number 2. Like, that's the whole thing. And that's if Bradley Beal... That's why there's so many what-ifs, because whenever Bradley Beal plays with another star guard, his numbers take a big dip.
Yeah.
And obviously, you don't know how he feels after last season. Like, he wants to win, but he also, like... You just don't know what goes on in these dudes' head, man.
Yeah.
Like, he wants to win, but he also wants 30 points per game and the ball in his hands at all times. Not all times, but last shots. And you know Westbrook, Matt.
Yeah.
He's a bit of a peanut.
Yeah, even when he had Kevin Bloody Durant on his team,
in
he
the
was
old IQ
jacking
department.
some
Yeah.
stupid shots. Yeah, his basketball IQ is certainly dubious.
He's got to shoot better from 3. And by shooting better from 3, I mean he's got to take off-ball threes, not bloody pull-ups and sort of...
Yeah. Sounds
all
like that's
those.
something Walls actually added a bit to...
Yeah, that's
bring back. Yeah,
that's
Walls-
part of the reports you hear and stuff, but
Well, because he spent 2 years sitting on his ass, basically, so he's probably been shooting a lot of jump shots.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope he's been
Imagine
doing
John
something.
Wall just comes back a 3-point sniper. Does a bit of a Derrick Rose, like retools his game. That'd be nice.
You'd hope for it, mate.
Yeah.
He's got to stay healthy first. That's because we were at this point last season as well, and then you heard he slipped in the shower and tore his Achilles or ACL. I forget which one it was.
Achilles, I think he's had at some
Achilles,
stage.
and it's like no one was really sure if that was the correct story that he slipped in the shower. Many thought he was hitting the nightclubs, mate.
Yeah.
Tell you who's going to be better, the city of Houston. They fucking gained a lot from this.
Mate, do you reckon John Wall's jersey is going to be hanging next to James Harden's?
Right next to him, mate. They'll be in the same booth. They won't even have a block between them.
Right.
They'll be on.
Bloody oath.
But like, I think, just in terms of the Beal Westbrook thing is going to just work better just from sort of continuing.
And Scotty Brooks will...
Yeah, Scotty
familiar
Brooks
with him.
coached Westbrook before as well. That's a big, like, I just think they're more meshing and they've got more certainty. That was the word I was looking for.
Yeah, certainty is a good way of putting it. Like,
Certainty.
their
is the
floor.
word.
They've
Yeah,
got a
their
much
floor.
higher floor than Houston does. Like, Houston's got the new coach. They've had a bit
Exactly.
of turnover this offseason. I like Steven
of-
Silas. I do
yeah.
very much like Steven Silas.
lot
I
of
think it could work
external
great.
factors.
If
A
everything
lot of-
goes right in Houston, it could work great. But there's a lot more question marks than there is with Washington.
Because, yeah, you've got, like, best case scenario, Wall becomes a pure point guard. He's sort of not restores, but he's not so much of a shell of himself. He's out of the 3-point shot. He's happy to defer to Harden. And then Harden also goes, okay, I don't need the ball in my hand. Like, and that's, I think that's what Steven Silas is preaching. Like, he's trying to get away from the D'Antoni sort of offense. Ball dominant offense, so you can have Harden more running. He can run on ball, obviously.
Yeah,
They
hard
can
to do whatever the hell he needs.
but you know what I mean? He's got to be willing as well.
Yeah.
Like, both parties have to be willing, but you just don't know. I think Westbrook and Beal are sort of more...
Organic.
Yeah. Such. So, like win the Special Olympics, mate. You don't know what fit's going to work. We'll just have to see when the season starts.
I guess this sort of will tie in nicely because I'd say Beal and Harden are probably 2 of the more frequently mentioned trade targets. So who do we reckon will be the best player who's most likely to be traded this season?
So I'm going to sort of backtrack on myself a bit here from that one. Because I would say Beal.
You reckon
But
Beal?
then I would only say because, like, this is going to be a large last-ditch effort to sort of keep him.
Yeah.
But I would say it's going to crumble worse in Houston. I'm not hoping it does or anything. I hope it actually succeeds. But if it does crumble in Houston, it's going to be a lot harder to get Harden out of Houston than it is. They're very...
And you're going to want the Godfather offer for Harden.
That's what I mean.
Beal's still a Godfather offer, but not to the extent Harden.
The teams that sort of have the Godfather package don't really want Harden. Like, I know personally from what I read about and people, insiders on Miami Heat, they would much rather Beal over Harden. No, but in terms of you're going to give, like, what our package is, then I think they've fallen in love with Beal. You know, when Pat Riley gets his eyes set on a certain player, he's like, oh.
Yeah.
Because he knows Beal can operate a bit off the ball. Like, he's probably willing to play defense a bit more. Even though James Harden's underrated in that category, simply because... But, just a bit of that. That's all I'm hearing. Like, I think Beal would be a better fit in Miami. But...
So you're thinking Beal's going to be
I think most likely to be traded. I'm not sure if any big name's going to get traded this year just because of the uncertainty surrounding the whole year and what's going to happen and everything. I don't know if anyone's going to make any drastic moves.
What if Giannis doesn't re-sign? Do you think they try and...
You don't trade away like a
value while you can?
Yeah. Like, do you really want to be the team that traded away? Like, it's like Cleveland could have done it with LeBron in 2010. Look, in hindsight, it's a beautiful thing, but you just got to run it back and hope that you strike gold and win a championship. And he goes, I'll re-sign. And
they did everything they could. They got unlucky with the Bogdan situation.
That's what I mean. They've tried everything. I think word around the league is like that Jackie Mullins is reporting that he is going to sign the Supermax. And like,
I have heard contingency saying even if he does sign it, doesn't mean the possibility over. It's basically setting up Milwaukee to maximise what they get for him.
Yeah, exactly.
If he decides in a year or two they're not going to do shit for him. But I guess this ties in nicely to who sets themselves up to be in the thick of these Giannis sweepstakes. Like Milwaukee have, like we alluded to,
obviously,
they've done well bringing in Drew Holiday. They've tried to make moves to keep him happy. Like Giannis would take that as these guys are willing to spend the money. They're willing to do the right thing. So, and he's always been a loyal, good dude to the. So they're probably. I'd say they're the front runner, but.
Yeah, you've got your. I reckon your top four sort of. Top three teams outside of Milwaukee would be, just in no particular order. Miami, Toronto, and Dallas. Yep. I think they're your three. Golden State probably falling in. I just think
Golden State be four, but they're a distant four.
They're a distant. I think the whole thing, Kevin Durant, the backlash on him, just if Giannis was to join Golden State. I know it's not the same situation and everything. It's just the Golden State, everyone would go, joining Golden State. It's just the way it is. Like, I think. Like, if he joined Miami, it would be more of a Kevin Durant move than if he was to join Golden State in this context, simply because, lost to him in the playoffs, but you don't know what's going to happen this year. They're obviously not the 73-win Golden State, but it's just that stigma associated with joining Golden State if you're a number one free agent now.
But still, that was because Kevin Durant had lost to them in that competitive
series. That's what I mean. It's the whole 73.
And that's when they were at the peak of their power.
Yeah, 73-9.
Steph unanimous MVP.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that.
That's why I said it's definitely not the same context if he was to join them now. But I think joining Miami would be more of a Golden State context. I'd agree.
Even Dallas.
But yeah, that's what. But I think those three, besides Milwaukee, have obviously got, like you sort of mentioned, the loyalty. They're going to do everything for him. Like, he's been there for so long. He seems like a loyal guy, but his number one thing is winning. Yeah. And if they sort of flame out pretty early again this year, I could see he's definitely going to test. If he doesn't sign the Supermax, he's going to test the free agent waters.
Yeah, obviously.
Like, as you do, just naturally. It's like if you have a job offer somewhere else, you're going to sort of go in there, even if you don't want it, just see what's going on. Yeah. And I then think you've got, obviously, Toronto.
Masai Ujiri, one of the best GMs around.
Best GMs. Pascal, I don't know if he's going to improve. You're going to have a lot of... I'm sure if they did get Giannis next year, Kyle Lowry would re-sign on the cheap.
Yeah.
And then...
Nick Nurse,
you've got OG. Yeah, you got Nick Nurse. You got OG Anunoby. Probably going to improve a fair bit.
Yep.
They got some other
nice
they got
players.
A nice
role,
like,
they got nice role players.
They have really good player development, very similar to Miami.
Really value their G League, all that sort of stuff.
Exactly, like they preach a lot of the same. Like, and that leads me into Miami, very similar thing. Like, really nice young core, great coach Eric Spoelstra, good roster built around him,
good ownership,
great from the top to the bottom. The militaristic style, like, I think Giannis would like that. Preaches hard work ethic, holding accountable, all that kind of jazz. No one needs to go into
5 a.m. volleyball workouts.
We don't need to go into all that. And then you've obviously got the up and coming Dallas, which you think is Team Europe with one of the best coaches you think in the NBA, Rick Carlisle.
You don't disagree.
No, I don't. But you rate him a little higher than I do.
I love me some Rick Carlisle.
I know you do. But you've got, obviously, Luka Porzingis, I think. he would slide right in there, 4-5. Like you've got
him
the
and
right,
Porzingis as your two big, sweet Jesus.
Yeah, like the spacing around there is not bad.
Then even round that out with fucking Josh Richardson,
they've picked up, a few pieces. Josh Richardson will fit nicely, like defensively and offensively.
Yeah. Perimeter stopper, which is probably not Luka's forte.
Yeah, well, that's if Josh Richardson, he's got a player option for that year. So if he opts in, or I think he'll opt out and chase a longer, more lucrative deal, because the deal he signed was pretty team friendly for him. Yeah, it was like 12 million a year when he signed at Miami. But I think those are the teams. I can't obviously elaborate on who's going to get him. Yeah. Like you've obviously, everyone's heard all the Miami sort of rumors, all the different inklings around the league and everything. But then
the Lakers were a rumor for about a week until LeBron and AD signed extensions.
Yeah, it's like that's just because Lakers want everyone. Lakers Twitter just put that into the universe, and then
Lakertards,
and then fucking Undisputed just have to put it out there just because it's Lakers, even though
it's Uncle Shay Shay talking shit about LeBron and the Lakers.
Even though there was no one reporting it at all. No big names, but it is what it is. But they're the teams in the thick of the sweepstake. I don't know if you have any.
Those are probably my three. Yeah. Those would be my three, and then
that's obviously regarding Milwaukee.
Yeah, excluding Milwaukee, those are the three. Then Golden State's a distant fourth. But it's those three in the thick of it. But I guess this talk of Giannis probably leads to a nice little transition. Like, I'm not just going to ask who's going to be the most valuable player this year. Like, that's just a bit of a basic question. I've added a little more nuance to it. Who do we think is the best player in the league versus who's going to be like considered the most valuable, like under the parameters of the award, that sort of thing?
The best player in the league is if he's the same as last year, LeBron James.
Yeah.
Like, I think he showed it. Like, everyone sort of, I mean,
is Kevin Durant in the conversation if he comes back pretty healthy?
Yeah, of course Kevin Durant's in the combo. Yeah. Like, Kevin Durant was always the second sort of, you could sort of pick between the two.
There was one era just before the Durant injuries where some people were sort of leaning towards Durant over Bron, but
I think that was more just voters' fatigue on LeBron's fight. Yeah, I'm not saying like awards. Durant deserved but like just in terms of people going,
I'm talking perception, not awards.
We're sick of LeBron being Kevin. Just lock in Kevin. But like, I think he just proves it year in, year out. Obviously, he's not the same defensive animal, but just the IQ.
He can turn that on, though. When
that's why he's 36 years old in January, or 30. I forget. Like, I don't know how old he is. He's fucking Terminator. But if he puts up, like, if he has similar impact to what he did last year, I don't see him slowing down. Doesn't look like he's slowing down. The
scoring, he might back off, but the assist and stuff will probably, I think,
he could average 20, 10, and 10 for all I know. But I just think it'd be silly to bet against anyone. I think he's the most valuable player as well, but that's just my opinion, because like historically every team he's gone to, every team he's left, there's a reason he gets to the finals every year. Like like, you can say as much as you want, but leaves Cleveland, they go into an absolute shit show. Like, even though they pretty much went in next year with the exact same roster. Minus Bron, and they got the number one pick.
They did get I think they were slightly gifted that one, but
they weren't the bottom record or anything. They got the percentages. Then they get Kyrie, obviously, and then they got a Tristan Thompson as well.
Yeah, they had the two top fours. And then Dion the following year, wasn't it?
And then Dion the following year, and then I mean, Miami's a bit better run organisation, but the Heat went into the lottery as soon as LeBron left.
To be fair with that, that's because of the Chris Bosh health.
That's what I mean. There was a few things going into that. But
if that Miami Heat was healthy, even without LeBron, they probably would have been in the thick of the East, mate. Well, until
they would have
Cleveland,
been in the sort of middle, late echelon with D Wade's health and everything like that. Like, he sort of rejuvenated himself when he came back. But then it was the year after the Heat sort of struck, because that was when we picked Winslow, Josh Richardson, got Sam Whiteside off the scrap heap when he was actually playing. When he was decent.
Gave him 80 mil.
Yeah, and then Chris Bosh was got struck on the blood clots again. Yeah. But we picked up Joe Johnson, Goran Dragic at the trade deadline. We had a nice little squad. One of my favourite teams, actually.
Oh, yeah.
She was spicy. But like, just historically, he leaves, joins team, and then he joins Cleveland back. Obviously, they had Kyrie, they traded for Kevin Love, but I still think
he went back when they had assets.
Yeah, I still think a Kyrie Kevin Love team is sort of, at that time,
Probably comparable to that Heat team that LeBron had left.
Yeah, probably a 7, 6, 7, 8. Like, because what was Kyrie doing without LeBron? Lottery years, every year.
Jacking shots.
Every year they were in the lottery.
Commercials.
Like, yeah, exactly. And then you throw in, and they're right back in the finals.
Yeah.
Like, you chuck him on any team, and they're pretty much... I remember I had a discussion with you at this point. I was like, is there any team that you would put him on and they wouldn't go into, like, sort of the late stage of the playoffs? Like, this was at that time when he sort of rejoined Cleveland. Like,
I was like... peak tank Philly, probably
you could have fucking put them on there, and he probably would have gone, yeah, we'll take him.
That peak tank Philly team, he probably could.
But yeah, that's my opinion. I think the best and the most valuable is...
that's why I sort of brought it up, because there is that perception like a LeBron, but then there is always constantly narratives about other guys like Kev, as I alluded to, Giannis, even though I certainly don't think he's probably the most valuable to Milwaukee, in that context, because Milwaukee would be an absolute shit show without him, but...
Yeah. That's like Steph to Golden State kind of thing. Yeah. He'd be the most valuable. Oh, obviously, your best player is the most valuable to your team, because you build your team around him.
Yeah.
So it's a bit...
But yeah, it's one of those ones, there's a bit of nuance with the discussion where people sort of have differing perception of best versus valuable, which is weird.
Yeah, I guess, like...
If they were really serious about valuable, they'd bring contracts and shit into consideration as well. Like,
it'd just be too much.
Yeah, it'd be a bunch of math nerds crunching numbers. As much as I'd love that, a lot of people probably
Andy Ellisberg in there, mate, he'll crunch it.
Yeah, boy, Zach Lowe, all those dudes, they love it. But I guess now that we've sort of covered that, we'll go a bit youthful. Who's going to be the rookie of the year?
My money's on Obi Toppin, personally. Obi, 4-year player. I forget, 3 or 4. I mean, I'm not exactly sure.
At the least a junior.
He's an upperclassman. Yeah, he's definitely an upperclassman. He's going to go to New York. He's going to be sort of
hometown
right there with, there's the whole narrative on his side. You know, hometown hero kind of thing comes back. And if New York win a couple more games than last year, he's going to shoot a decent percentage. You'd think so. Just he can do it all offensively. Very high floor. I think he'll average around 18 probably and 7 a game. And I think the other sort of players that you would consider, so Anthony Edwards sharing the ball, D'Lo, and Cole Anthony Towns, not the clear-cut one. James Wiseman, very similar thing.
The fact Clay's gone down probably helps him a bit.
But he's not your go-to guy. You're not just going to feed the ball into him. Like, he's going to be running pick and rolls, rim running and stuff. He'll make a better impact than these rookies. But
just statistically,
he won't have the statistic advantage. And then LaMelo, I think, is obviously going to have to share ball handling chops with Terry Rozier, Devontae Graham, and then the newly signed Gordon Hayward, assuming health. And I think he'd be too inefficient anyway. I think his body's got to get used to the NBA game a bit. Whereas Obi Toppin, I see sort of that guy who's going to slide right in. He's 4 years, like I said, 4-year college player. He's a big boy. Like, he can score in multitude of ways. Shooting, athletic, like, can run the floor. He's going to put up the numbers, and he's going to be the hometown hero. He's got a narrative right with him. That's me, though.
And the thing is with that, like, as well, like, people will throw out the they bloody got their whole roster's power forwards. The thing is, they've dropped Bobby Portis, Taj Gibson's now gone. I think it's just him, Randall, and Mitch Robinson in the front court.
And I think you start Toppin. Oh, I don't actually. That's a good point. Do you reckon he'll be a day one starter with Randall and Robinson?
They'd start Randall and Robinson, surely, I'd guess. Unless, because Randall's looking skinny, they might try and pull some bullshit and stick him at the 3 or something ridiculous like that.
Because I don't think, like, if you're the Knicks, I don't think you draft that high and not start him. Yeah. Like, it's sort of...
And they know they've only got Randall for 1 more year.
Yeah,
Randall's mentioned in a lot of trade rumours. He'll probably go to a contender at the deadline or something.
I think Randall could be like a nice 6-man, just like your scoring option off the bench. Like
on a contender.
Yeah. Oh, no, I mean, like, for New York.
Oh. Would he go for that, though? That's the thing.
Oh, it's not really his choice.
Yeah, I guess.
But, yeah. But then you've also got Tom Thibodeau's the coach, so he might go veteran over a lot of external factors. But
they should just be glad Taj Gibson's gone, otherwise they'd both be stuck on the bench.
Yeah, exactly. but I think he'll get a lot of run.
Yeah.
I think he'll be Rookie of the Year personally. Or do you have any? Who are you thinking?
I'm not going to disagree, but I'm going to throw out a smoky. Killian Hayes.
For Detroit?
Yeah, I reckon he'll get primary ball handling duties relatively soon. He's got a pretty nice game. He's got a nice balance of passing and scoring.
Yeah.
He'll get the minutes and opportunity to take the award. Detroit's going nowhere. Look, they've signed Angelo Ball. They're not exactly world
To a
beaters.
10-day, mate. He'll be gone in 10 days.
No, mate, he's making the final roster.
He might. You never know.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Killian Hayes is a good dark horse shout. I'm feeling,
that's
but
fair.
like obviously Obi's sort of set up nicely. Like LaMelo is going to be in contention,
Yeah, just from name and marketing alone.
and the fact they're going to give him the keys.
he's going to
pretty
be on
much straight
he'll be
away.
on SportsCenter. He'll be putting up some
Yeah.
highlights.
And the thing is, with Charlotte, he'll be getting the keys of franchise, whereas Anthony Edwards is going to be third wheel to D'Lo and Cat. James Wiseman's going to be JaVale McGee on steroids this year, basically. Pat Williams, Okoro, both those guys are pretty raw. Okongwu, John Collins, and Trae Young will probably be getting more emphasis.
And those
Cole Anthony's not a bad smoky, actually, as well, I don't think.
Cole Anthony, for
If Orlando give him the keys, he's probably a good smoky.
I've been a big Cole Anthony supporter since day one, mate.
He'd be a good little smoky, I reckon.
I just think, because there's the whole narrative in it as well. I don't think you give it, you need to give a Rookie of the Year to someone who's not, the top pick, who's not a top pick kind of thing. I know it's very rare, even when they sort of perform really well, but
Yeah, even the bloody Michael Carter Williams one, they were trying real hard to give it to bloody... Was it Embiid he played the 20, 30 games that year?
Yeah, they would have tried. It's like this whole Zion Williamson thing this year.
Yeah,
I read something on Bleacher Report. It was the Christmas Day games analysed. They literally, the game, how it's the Heat versus the Pelicans. This rubbed me the wrong way, obviously. The whole thing was a write-up on Zion Williamson, and then the last paragraph was the Heat, who just made the finals. I was like, are you kidding me? Yeah. It's Zion looked really good, and then you've got the Heat, who achieved really well in the bubble. That's literally what they wrote.
Fucking hell.
I was like, are you serious right now?
Yeah, that's a bit of a piss take, to say the least.
Standard national media, mate.
Bloody oath.
Hold on, see if I can find that. I'll show you. But continue on, mate.
Well, I was going to sort of say that's pretty much most of the people we'd think would be in the hunt for Rookie of the Year, I'd say.
Yeah.
We sort of talked about how you said in that last paragraph how the Heat were good in the bubble, so we'll talk about the bubble, I guess. How effective do you think this season's going to be without the bubble? With the players travelling and some of the protocols they've brought in, if players test positive, they got to do, stay away from the team and shit like that. Do you think it's going to work without the safety net of a bubble?
I mean, I'm not sure how. I think the NBA are better prepared because they've got the experience on their side now.
And smaller
how
rosters
to do
and
things,
stuff.
and smaller rosters to soccer and the NFL and whatnot that's happened around the world. I mean, you're still going to get positive cases, but I trust Adam Silver as a commissioner. I think he did a really good job with the whole bubble. Everyone obviously contributed to it, and they've got the experience on the side. They've done sort of a mini season and a playoffs before under these kind of restrictions.
Well, there's no bubble that's going to be travel.
Yeah, I know, but I think they're best equipped to deal with it. They've had some experience in dealing with it, obviously, and you just, it's one of those things you don't really know until you kick off.
Did you hear how Joe Lacob, the owner of Golden State, was prepared to spend $30 million a game on testing and shit just so they could have a full stadium and stuff, on protocols and testing and stuff?
No, I didn't.
He was going to spend $30 million a game just on tests and stuff so they could have a full arena of Chase.
How much money does this man have?
Fuck all, really. He bought Golden State when he was only worth $1 billion or something. So most of his wealth's from Golden State because he bought the team for
he must be thinking
$300
if he can fill a stadium, then he must be making.
Well, he's
30
just
mil.
built a $2 billion stadium, so they
actually,
want to get some asses in those seats, I guess.
Yeah. There's talk of some fans. I haven't heard much about the whole logistics of it. There hasn't been much leaked.
Probably a bit of state by state.
See what happens.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting. I think they're thinking about increasing the roster to 15 active men.
Yeah, I've heard about that. So they can rotating guys and being more flexible with Exhibit 10s and the 45 days.
Because obviously you're going to have a lot of in and out, especially with the quick turnaround. I know a lot of veterans won't be sort of playing the first. It's teams that went late into the playoffs, Lakers. You don't know how much LeBron's going to play. He might take a couple of back-to-backs off. You never know. Ease his way into it. I know Jimmy Butler's and Goran Dragic aren't going to play like full sort of. So I think that 15-man roster helps out a bit.
Certainly.
The active roster. That should be interesting.
Certainly. But who do we reckon will benefit most from like a more normal season, like a travel schedule, rather than everyone being locked in Disneyland sort of thing? Who do we reckon benefits from being able to travel, be at home? Like,
pretty much everyone. Like, it's sort of teams that have like massive home road splits that enjoy like sort of get pumped up playing in front of the home crowd. I think like it's really tough to sort of. There's not really one team unless you can think of one that.
Funnily enough, I had the Lakers, even though they're the defending champs. I think a normal season benefits them because like guys like LeBron like being home with their families. Like, LA's a nice place.
So you're looking at like that kind of perspective.
I'm going like that's the only sort of thing I can really
family sort of,
because that'll help guys perform better on court. In terms of on court, I can't see any team really performing better because like you heard everyone talking about how good the basketball was in the bubble. Like.
Yeah, exactly. I would say young guys, like younger teams, just in terms of having the fans, but then it also works both ways because then when they go on the road, even though there's probably going to be no. Oh, wait, yeah, why am I talking about fans? There's probably not going to be any fans anyway, so you'd be right. I guess, teams like that can enjoy themselves, so states that I'm not exactly sure, but states that have a bit more less restrictions.
Yeah. Florida,
see,
they probably have no fucking restrictions.
Yeah, they don't really give a fuck. But that's what I'm not completely up with the demographics of the US and what they do but that's the only sort of external factor. Because it's just a tough one to sort of answer.
And who, on the converse, who do we reckon would have benefited from it, like the bubble? Like if they were going back to Disneyland, everyone buckle on in.
Oh yeah, high leadership, high IQ teams. So like the Lakers, the Miamis, who like the militaristic style, teams with great leaders and just well-run officers. Dallas, I think. Yeah. I think Dallas, under the leadership of Rick Carlisle, Luka's a very good.
Denver, even.
Denver. Utah under Quinn Snyder, and then they seem to have really strong-headed guys. Even though Rudy Gobert's a bit of like his whole thing, he's still leader. You got Joe Ingles, who's a real nice.
Yep.
Donovan Mitchell, as young as he is quite a leader.
Yep.
The Bucks.
Yeah, like even during the bubble, like when all that shit went down in Milwaukee and they stood up and showed leadership. They were at the forefront.
They've got a lot of like Sterling Brown's a big voice, even though he doesn't do much. But like just any team from top to bottom, great culture. Toronto
would be well equipped.
Just those kind of Celtics. Any sort of decent organisation that you go, they've got their shit together. So not New York.
Phoenix, probably with Chris Paul there now.
With Chris Paul there now, yeah.
Before, there's probably those questions like Robert Sarver's a bit of a shit. We all know that.
So there's not really, teams that benefit from the bubble, sort of just those kind of teams. Like, as you saw, like the Heat made a great run, but pretty much where you thought everyone else was going to be was where they ended up being. Every team in the playoffs sort of was a well-run organisation with great leadership, good coaching, which is usually the case. Yeah. Because obviously you had your Boston, Miami, Milwaukee, fucking Toronto, all that kind of crap. And out west, you
saw the Clippers implode, even though they were arguably the most talented team in the bubble, because they lacked that leadership.
Kawhi Leonard's not really a natural leader. He's not an outspoken leader.
And there's recent reports like how like Paul George and Kawhi Leonard got heaps of like benefits. Like Kawhi was allowed to live in San Diego and stuff.
We all knew that though. We all knew that. They were allowed to train whenever they want.
And it diminished the leadership and culture of it, like guys like Trez and Lou Will.
That's what I mean. The whole thing about their year before they got Kawhi and Paul George with the grit and grind, the Clippers, like they pushed the healthy Golden State team to 6 games or whatever, and they had the guys like Trez, Lou Will just out there grinding Tobias Harris before they traded him. But just that kind of crap, like even Danilo. Yeah. Nice. Shea. Yeah. He was nice. It was a sweet team. And then they brought in these guys and it just completely flipped it on its head because, they're sort of prima donna divas kind of guys.
I was waiting because I saw they had uploaded a clip of because apparently Paul George is going to be on All the Smoke next week. Like the clip that uploaded was just literally just him pumping out excuses.
Oh, Jesus.
I was surprised Matt Barnes and Stephen Jackson were copping all those excuses. They seem like the sort of dudes like fucking
Yeah.
give us that sort
I
of
guess
shit.
it's their I kind of want to watch that just to hear his fucking. It wasn't a championship or bust year for us. What?
Yeah.
Excuse me. What when Kawhi airs a commercial saying "King of LA,"
Yeah.
Kawhi Town this way.
Yeah.
It's not a championship or bust. All right.
Pleb George.
Yeah. Fucking pleb George.
Yeah.
Calls out Dame Lillard and then blames mental health.
Yeah, he's a dickhead.
Yeah. It's like, all right, mate.
Yeah, but I guess while we're in the West, that sort of will lead me to, it's a bit of a wild West. Like, who do we reckon's going to make those last 6, 7, 8 type seeds? Who's going to just miss?
Let me get my teams out.
Yeah.
we went through it roughly before, but
Yeah,
I
we
kind of
attempted it. It was a bit hard.
It's because obviously I think your locks, run through the locks. You've got Lakers, Clippers, Denver.
Yeah.
I think Portland are a lock for me. Dallas, so there's probably my 5.
I don't think anything other than those first 3 are locks for the West. That's how crazy I think the West
Dallas?
can be. Yeah, they're probably they're probably as close to a lock as you can get without me giving you the full.
So what? You just want the top 3 as locks?
Well, I think they're the only 3 that I can't see missing the playoffs. There's scenarios
This
where I can
is
see
regarding health and everything, like full health.
Okay, yeah, everything. But there's scenarios where I could see Dallas missing.
But, yeah.
Predominantly Porzingis health related, but yeah.
Well, I'm putting the Portland Trailblazers in there simply because they improved, and before all the injuries, they were in the conference finals against the Golden State Warriors. It's not. I think they're going to be a lock. I think Dame's going to come back, kill this season. He killed last season. He doesn't gives me no reason. They don't have a Son Whiteside now.
But the thing is, looking at I've got the entire West in front of me. There's literally 3 teams here that I'd say no way in hell they're going to make the West playoffs.
Yeah, so
Minnesota,
how about we eliminate those first?
Yeah, I'll say Minnesota, Oklahoma City, and San Antonio for me are the 3 that I don't think are making the playoffs this year.
OKC, yeah, that's 100%.
Yeah.
Minnesota,
don't think they're making it this year.
Yeah.
But but in saying that, if absolutely everything went right for Minnesota, they've got the tools to make the playoffs. But I don't think they will.
Everything has to go right.
Yep. And then San Antonio, I just don't think they've got it in the tank.
I was going to say, I think in terms of personnel, big fella, I think San Antonio are less likely to make it than Minnesota.
Yeah, I think Minnesota's more likely to make it.
But San Antonio have the whole organisation on their hands and the top to bottom coaching, obviously. Greg Pop, so you don't usually bet against Greg Pop.
Yeah, exactly.
But
then, other than that, every other team's in the thick of it.
So then I think we'll do it in tiers, I reckon.
Tiers
so
is very
tiers.
Tiers.
So I reckon
tier the West. Tier the West. Let's do it.
So that's our bottom 3 kind of thing.
That's the plebs. We'll call it
the San Antonio,
Mini,
OKC, and Minnesota. I hate to do it to Minnesota, but you know.
They're the top of that tier. But
so then we'll go. That's the bottom tier. Then the top tier is your Lakers, Clippers,
Denver.
Nuggets, and you don't want to include Portland in there.
Nah.
I almost want to include Portland in there, or Dallas as well.
Well, Portland and Dallas are in that second tier. I'd definitely say
they're okay. They've got their own tier.
Yeah.
Portland, Dallas have got, and Utah are their own sort of second tier.
Put Utah
and
with them. Utah deserves.
And then that middle tier, which is the ones that we're going to talk about, we've eliminated it.
Yep.
You Houston, Memphis, New Orleans, Phoenix, Sacramento.
Yep.
So they're all the teams that are going to be in that play-in sort of tournament fighting for those last couple of seeds.
Are they going for a play-in again, are they?
I think so. There's going to be a play-in at the end, yeah.
I don't mind that bit of spice.
But yeah, because, Memphis shocked everyone last year.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Ja Morant, you never know how good he's going to be. Jaren Jackson, they got a nice little duo.
Yeah, Brandon Clark's a raw guy who's going to have another year under his belt.
Exactly. Houston obviously can vault themselves into that kind of second tier. They have the potential, but they also have the potential to implode.
Yeah.
James Harden trade.
So many question marks with
them. A lot of question marks.
You can't give them that stability credit that you give like a Dallas, Portland.
Exactly.
Utah.
Phoenix with Chris Paul. Yeah. The addition of Chris Paul. They could be. Yeah, they could be like this year's OKC.
Yeah.
Like that can happen. Sacramento. Just re-signed De'Aaron Fox. Like everyone sort of maybe knows their role a bit more.
Halliburton's a nice little pickup for him.
Yeah, just they can keep improving. They were on you don't know, Buddy Hield's going or whatever they're doing with that. And New Orleans is New Orleans.
Right.
and everyone jumps on the Zion Williamson bandwagon, but no one knows how much he's going to play.
I'm not sure how they're going to work with like a Stan Van Gundy style team with Steven Adams and Zion in that front court.
Yeah,
one of those two is going to need to learn how to shoot. Zion's getting there, but like, he's not really he had that first game of his career where he hit like fucking 5 or whatever it was. But
they're NBA players. They can shoot like when they're sort of left wide open. They didn't really have anything to lose.
Yeah. And one team we forgot's Golden State. That's probably also in that. Like,
fuck. Yeah, we did actually.
Yeah, I'd put Golden State in that tier with like your Phoenixes, Sacramento.
Yeah, okay, good. I wasn't going to put them in with the Utah.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah. I'm a Golden State fan. I don't think they're quite there.
Yeah, so they're in that fight-in lot then.
If Klay Thompson was playing, I'd probably put us fucking. I'd definitely have us in that thing pushing that fucking Denver group if Klay was around.
No, I agree with you. That was fully health and everything like that. But I think they're your teams that. No, that was a good way to break it down. Actually, I was like, no.
Yeah, Wild West, baby, tear that bitch.
Wild West.
Make it.
But I think that's sort of what. Was there anything elaborate? Do you want me to?
Well, it's a bit like out of that play-in tier, who's the best? If you had to pick the best team from that play-in tier,
probably Houston's the best team.
Yeah, best
in terms of talent.
Yeah, I'll give.
But they also have the chance to implode. Then you're probably looking at just Phoenix because they're a bit more seasoned.
Yeah. DeAndre Ayton's got another year.
DeAndre improved his defense
Chris Paul
greatly.
looking for him now.
Devin Booker is still Devin Booker. You've got Chris Paul. Then
they've got Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson.
That's
with
what
I
mean. Like
belt.
Nice players, and they sort of like they've got a bit more experience under them.
Yeah, Mikal and Cam are like two beautiful 3-and-D guys that can switch fucking 1 to 4, 1 to 5. Fucking.
I think they're actually in a tier of their own. Houston and sort of Phoenix, and then you've got Sacramento, New Orleans, Memphis as your sort of. I think
fighting for the 8. You could say those three fighting for the 8.
They're fighting for the 8, I reckon.
Yeah.
All right, I reckon.
And Golden State as well, don't forget.
I'll put Golden State in with the Phoenix and the LA. No, the Phoenix and Houston.
Yeah, that's fair. Because even like without Klay, like Kelly Oubre Jr. is a very nice player. Wiggins has shown some stuff. Like I don't want to say he'll be a superstar enough, but I think he has a
bit
chance
worried
to be
about floor spacing.
Him and Oubre are both about 35% spot uppy type guys. Like
you got
Draymond needs to find his jump shot back,
and James Wiseman's not shooting.
Wiseman, I was watching some highlights of him shooting jump shots. It was glorious. He was.
I've watched highlights of Bam shooting jump shots. Still doesn't shoot.
Yeah, certainly not. But it's beautiful to see the work getting put in.
But no, I reckon that's probably the best way we can break down the West. There.
Yeah, I reckon we've done well with that question. I'll go a quick general before we go. Who's winning each conference? Just general teams you're going to be watching this year. Like who you reckon is going to be playing a good brand of basketball. I mean, you're going to enjoy watching.
I'm
like,
going to be
good
watching
talent.
the Miami Heat always.
Yeah, obviously they're a good brand. Like good passing, good like the shooting with Duncan and Tyler's nice to watch. Like it's a good play style, aesthetically pleasing. I gotta say, as a Golden State fan, even without Klay, I'm excited about this year. It'll be like a different looking team. It'll be like very transition heavy, like run and gun. I think like probably a bit of that D'Antoni 7 seconds or less, but with like more switching and versatility with like Oubre, Wiggins, Draymond.
I mean,
Wiseman.
yeah,
it'll be fun to watch. Like I don't know how effective it's going to be compared to like a more standard Golden State team, but it'll be exciting, run and gun, bit like that 07 We Believe sort of thing.
Out east teams that intrigue me. Yeah. In terms of that, I would enjoy watching. You'll like this actually. Atlanta. Yeah. Obviously, I just want to see they're trying to push for the playoffs. I want to see how they go, and then Orlando.
Ooh.
Orlando. This is assuming they get Jonathan Isaac back next year.
Yeah, Jonathan Isaac's a big thing.
He's a big if.
Big caveat for Orlando. Like
Markelle Fultz another year. Cole
another
Anthony
year getting those shoulders.
Yeah, fucking nerve damage. And then just, still got Voos, Evan Fournier. They always push for the playoffs. They made the 8th seed.
They've been in purgatory for a while.
Yeah, and then they can sort of strike gold. Steve Clifford's still there.
Yeah,
Steve Clifford.
I think so. They've changed coaches that often.
Yeah, like I said, I don't. But I think if Cole Anthony's the player I think he could be, I think they've got a nice little...
Like I said, I had him as a smoky for rookie of the year. Like if they give him the keys and let him be like good minutes, take his good amount of shots, he could definitely win the rookie of the year because they've got enough of a supporting roster around him for that team to not be dog shit, as you mentioned.
Jonathan Isaac comes back relatively healthy, usually takes the players like another year, but he's a very nice piece. Very nice piece. You've still got Voos, who was an all-star.
Yep.
Fucking 2 years ago. Like, puts up big numbers.
Yep.
You've got your Wes Awundus.
Where's
Wes?
Wes?
Markel Fultz, still growing, doing whatever
Markel,
he does.
he's changed his game after like the damage
After
and stuff.
he's
If
not.
one day they magically heal out and we get the Markel of old, that would be glorious. But
Don't make me cry. I love that, man. That's probably my
Dallas
teams
is
out.
probably another one for me.
Yeah, you enjoy
Going
it.
back west. Yeah.
You enjoy a bit of Dallas.
Like last season, they were the most effective offense in history or something. Weren't they like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
They were the number one offense in history, wasn't it? But also dog shit defense.
yeah. But watching Luca just continue running gun, keep working on his craft, that sort of thing. That's going to be sick. Phoenix, I'm probably quite excited to watch them. Like,
Yeah.
Dev CP, sorry. Even DeAndre Ayton,
Yeah,
I think
nice.
is going to be very exciting with that team.
I'm talking Portland, mate.
Oh,
I fucking love Dame.
definitely Portland.
Dame,
I love
CJ.
Melo being there. I love they've re-signed Melo.
Without Sam Whiteside, they'll be getting up and down a bit.
They've re-signed Melo.
Yeah, they did,
Yeah.
But I mean, without
Yeah.
Sam Whiteside there.
They got Nurk back.
No, that's all hell.
Zachy
Zach
Collins- is Zach
sort
Collins
of-
healthy,
Yeah,
or is he-
fuck
he's
knows
close.
these days. But
They signed
picked up
someone else.
Rocco as well, didn't they? Ended up trading for.
Yeah, they got Rocco.
Yeah, they
got another big in as well.
No, did they get Rocco? Yeah.
Yeah, they got Rocco. But they got another big as well, I think.
Their whole. I'm actually gonna
I'll pull
Google
their
the roster right now.
I can pull it up pretty quick.
Portland 2021 roster.
Rodney Hood back.
Oh,
Ennis Cantor, that's Hood. They
Enes
brought back Ennis Cantor. But he nearly had the league in offensive rebounds or some shit.
Yeah,
last season, didn't he?
Anthony Simons as well. Another
Yeah.
year under his belt.
Definitely nice. Gary Trent Jr. He's
Yeah.
nice.
Like I said, I think.
Nas Little, he's nice.
Oh, Nazir Little,
Yeah.
another year, but
Derek Jones Jr., mate.
Yeah, fucking Derek. But like I said, I think there'll be a lot more fast paced now. I
Yeah.
think. Did you see the Instagram banter between Dame and Steph?
Nah.
Oh, you will love this. It's beautiful.
Wow.
It was a video
Is it wholesome?
of Dame pulling up from half court, just
Yeah.
dropping them.
Yeah.
And Steph's commented, "Hey, why are you pulling triggers like that?" And I can't remember. And then Dame's replied with, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh no." Steph said something like, "Oh, I'll shoot him if you shoot him." And they're just like, "Yeah, opening tip, first game."
I
of
saw
the season.
comments saying it'd be good if those two just started jacking from half court.
No, Steph and Dame were going back, and they were just like, "Yeah, I'll do it if you do it." First game, opening night, like against each other.
Thing is with that, I think I've brought this up before, but like Gilbert Arenas made a good point about guys like Steph and Dame. Like the first shot of the game, if they're taking it from deep as shit, the defense thinking, "Oh, they're taking him for this deep, I got to defend him," which means the defender's out more. So when the guy comes and sets him a pick or whatever, they've got that much more space to operate, like because they're further out, sort of thing. Like, so that's why they probably should be taking those sort of
hold
shots.
on.
I
It's
think.
like, sorry, Steph Curry's comment. That's wild, bro. 18 on the shot clock. You pulling? I'll do it if you do it. And then Dame's replied, "Let's do it, lol. Opening night. Fuck it."
My man,
Yeah,
God, I love Dame.
yeah. It's a sweetheart.
He is.
But yeah, I would probably say my wild card would probably be that I would like to watch. Would probably be Sacktown.
Yeah.
I enjoy a bit of De'Aaron Fox personally.
He's a quick, crafty
He's a
point
quick,
guard.
crafty
Nice
point
operates
guard.
in transition.
Marvin Bagley, see if he can pick up a bit of old form.
Yeah.
I think they need a new coach. I think Luke Walton's a piece of shit.
Yeah, he's a pleb.
Yeah.
He needs Steve Kerr to make him look good.
Yeah. Oh, he needs Golden State to make him look good, mate.
Yeah.
I would say Steve Kerr needs Golden State, mate. No, he's a good man.
Yeah, mate. They're delightful chaps. But I guess that's sort of we'll wrap up with who's winning each conference. Like I meant playoff. Well, I'm not. Actually, we'll do it both. Who's getting the top seed and who's
Regular
making the
season
finals?
East, I think Milwaukee are going to get the top seed. I think Brooklyn are going to have some things to figure out. But
Yeah,
they'll
they'll
be
have
in there.
teething pains.
But assuming Brooklyn figure it out, I think they're going to win the East.
Yeah.
Personally, I think I way too early to tell. But I think just the talent, Kevin, Kyrie.
And the thing is,
if they
Kevin and
flip to
Kyrie
someone-
have a season to play themselves into form and back into consistency.
Yeah.
So by the time those two are in the playoffs, they'll be good to go.
Kevin's like probably the second best player in the world when healthy. Like arguably number one, whatever.
Yeah.
Like you can
Like he's the
argue.
best scorer in history.
Yeah, unreal. And
The way is that man scores the ball is
and
fucking
that's
ridiculous.
they may even pull off a trade mid-season for maybe not a James Harden, but they might some disgruntled star somewhere might sort of go, and then they go, oh, yeah. Maybe not in the tier of James Harden, but a nice third wheel there.
Yeah.
Out west, I mean, I think Lakers.
Yep.
Lakers are going to finish with the number 1 record. I think
they've improved their roster after winning the championship.
Yeah, and I think the Clippers might make a bigger push. I could see them just about maybe the Clippers might end up number 1 seed for a culture. Like, I don't know, they might go away from. No, I know they won't. Who am I fucking kidding? Lakers are going to be the number 1 seed and they're going to win.
It's hard for me to go past the Lakers out west.
I can see the Clippers maybe meeting them in the conference finals this year, or the dark horse maybe Portland.
Yeah, I don't know if I have much faith in the Clippers, really.
A lot of turnover.
Yeah.
A lot of this. Ty Lue's alright.
And Tyler's good, but just the attitudes of everyone, I think the way last year went for them probably disgruntled that team that badly. They probably need more roster turnover, I think.
Yeah.
You probably almost want to. It sucked for them, obviously, but getting rid of guys like Lou Will, Pat Bev.
I'll take Lou Will.
Yeah, I'll take
I won't take Pat Bev, he's a little rat.
Yeah, fuck Pat Bev.
Fuck him. But yeah.
But yeah, so Lakers Nets finals sort of.
Lakers Nets finals.
Extremely early predictions.
Yeah, extreme pre-training camp early predictions.
Pre-training camp predictions.
But I'd like to see that series. That'd be a nice series. Bit of Kevin versus LeBron, Kyrie versus LeBron, the whole sort of narrative of things. AD versus anyone.
AD and KD.
AD averaging 40.
Yeah, no one's stopping AD in that.
Yeah, Jarrett Allen.
They'll probably just run DeAndre Jordan, fucking Jarrett Allen at him.
Yeah. No, you just have to double him on the post. But yeah, that's my.
Yeah. I believe those were the 12 questions.
Merry fucking Christmas.
Ho, ho, ho.
Oh.
Speaking of which, I'm slowly but surely getting through that horse clip. I got a nice clip of you saying you're a whore, so I might have to clip that and put that out of context at some point. So the people have got that to look forward to.
Nice, mate.
But like, comment, subscribe, get around it on Spotify, YouTube, wherever the fuck you get around podcasts. We'll catch you next time.